Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, maybe good evening, all of you in everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Let me share my presentation first. Okay, greetings. I'm back. Agus Eko Prastio will try to give a short presentation about the Kairomix as an attractor and homogenizer for population of pollinating insect Elaidibus cameronicus. In this presentation, we will discuss about several explanation and discussion regarding the oil palm pollination, especially in Indonesia, some incidents of low fruit set problem in Indonesia, and then how do we improve the oil palm fruit set? And related to Kairomix, we will discuss a little about behavior of Elaidibus cameronicus, what is Kairomix and how to use it, and some trial results of Kairomix application and how to make Kairomix more effective in the field. Okay, before we continue for talking about Kairomix, it is good to introduce about the history of oil palm plantation in Indonesia. Currently, we know that the area of oil palm plantation in Indonesia is more than 16 million hectares, and all of them are Elaeis guineensis. So maybe it's a little different in Colombia, where some of their use have used Elaeis olivera or OG hybrid. Of course, from the history, starting in 1848, four oil palm seedlings were planted in the Bogor Botanical Garden as ornamental plants, and this became the foundation for oil palm seeds producer in Southeast Asia. And then in 1911, the first commercial oil palm planting covering an area of 336 hectares was successfully built in Sungai Liput, Sumatra, which has then pollinated almost entirely by human, or called assisted pollination. There are two insect indigenous Indonesia, namely Trip hawaiiensis and Pyrodenses, but both only have an impact on fruit set formation relatively low, with maximum 40%, until finally in 1982, the introduction of Elaidibus cameronicus was carried out after seeing the successfully in Malaysia, which had introduced this weevil 1 or 2 years earlier. Then at Indonesian Oil Palm Research Institute atau IOPRI in Marihat, these insects are quarantined to ensure their role is only as pollinator and not as pests or disease factors. And also, host suitability tests were carried out on 47 species of plant flower. It turned out that this weevil was only able to reproduce on the male flower of Elaeis guineensis. So the first release in the field was carried out on March 23 in 1983 with extraordinary result. Within 4 months, it had reached more than 5 kilometers and was able to increase the fruit set until 80%. After that, the weevil was distributed to various islands in Indonesia until 1987, and this insect became the main pollinator agent of oil palm plantation in Indonesia until now. However, since 2007, there have many reports of pure pollinators problem, which are indicated by the low fruit set of oil palm in Indonesia. From this description, I just want to point out that the role of Elaidibus is very, very important for pollination of Elaeis guineensis, especially in Indonesia. The pure pollination problem was started from the use of the latest oil palm progeny. It's called quick starter progeny, which produce many female inflorescence, but provides just a few male inflorescence. So mostly it occurred in young mother palm on a large scale area, 4 until 6 years planting on, with fruit set below 20%. So many questions then arise. What are the factors causing this problem? Are lack breeding site, global climate change, inbreeding depression, or natural enemies? So IOPRI, as a research institute, always conduct some research to overcome this problem. The first was in 2007 and 9 by developing a hatchery system which increase population Eladibis camerunicus through the introduction of post-anthesis of male inflorescence. This technique was capable for increasing the fruit set in young mother palm and protect the larvae from rat attacks, but not effective in oil palm with too high ratio. So then in 2011, we made a closed hatchery box and improved the by direct pollen spraying onto the weevil image before being released in the field. And this technique is called hatch and carry system. This technique also increased the fruit set, but however, this method need for intensive supervision due to the installation of the bulbs were inside in the block, inside the block. So for increase of application and supervision, the hatching box are placed into the group near the office. And then we call hatch and carry mobile system, because in the early morning, supervisor collect the weevil bag and distribute the bag to harvester before leaving the office. The harvester then release the weevil in the planting block where harvesting take place. The implementation of this technique also increase the fruit set. But however, all of these techniques are still not efficient in the field. I think even in some cases there are oil palm planting blocks which female inflorescence are abundant and male inflorescence present in adequate proportion, but still has low fruit set. So what is the so let's learn a little something about insect communication. Well, as we know that the main oil palm pollination is assisted by insect, that is Eladibis camerunicus weevil. In general, insect communicate between individuals or between insect and plants is through a chemical compound. Chemical compound released by both individual insect or plant can be a clue for a particular type of insect to find their food, lay some eggs, mate, and so on and so on. We know the existence of pheromone, which are divided into various kinds such as sex pheromone, alarm pheromone, aggregation pheromone, trail pheromone, depending of their use. And then we know also about some chemical like kairomone, kairomone, cinnamon. And in this case, we will discuss about the volatile organic compound that secreted by plant that can attract certain insect to feed and breed. It's namely kairomone. So why do the weevil Eladibis camerunicus attract to the oil palm flower as long as anthesis? We have extracted and identified various volatile organic compounds from anthesis male and female flower, which are capable of attracting the weevil to visit both flower. There are same types of volatile organic compound from male and female flower, but there are also other type that are different. For example, palmitic acid is secreted by male and female flower, but the andecanoic acid and estragol were only secreted by male flower, while farnesol, squalene only from female flowers. So, however, of the various volatile organic compound, estragol was the most attractive compound that for weevil Elidibus cameronicus. This is consistent with the observation that this weevil is more attracted to the male inflorescence of oil palm. So we know that the weevil visit to male flower to feed some pollen and nectar and also laying their egg. But there is something interesting happen in Indonesia that some area, such as on Kalimantan Island, the weevil tendency reduced to visit female flower, which cause lower natural pollination. This is why, even though the weevil population is sufficient in this location, but the fruit set formation is still quite low. So that's why then in 2015, we synthesize Kairomix. Kairomix is a commercial synthetic estragol, so it resembles the smell of anthesis male flower that packed in sachet dispenser. Some research in the laboratory and in the field, so that Kairomix was able to attract Elidibus cameronicus with the number of weevil attract from each point of Kairomix was relatively same or not significantly different, so that it could be conclude that the role of Kairomix could homogenize the weevil population. The application of Kairomix at 2 until 4 sachet per hectare could increase weevil activity to visit a female flower and had improved the pollination. The durability of Kairomix is up to 1.5 months, and now product was licensed to PT Anugrah Sarana Hayati Bogor, Indonesia for mass production and sales. The application in the field is very, very easy by opening the sunset and hanging the Kairomix on young frond and placing in certain point evenly like this map. For example, palm as a point of installation at interval 6 row and 6 palm and so on until evenly distributed, as well as taking leaf sample for fertilization. Parameter observed we will visit on receptive female inflorescence and increase fruit set after 6 months later. Application of Kairomix in the field can disrupt the communication system of the weevil so that they visit female flower. Weevil will think that there are male flower everywhere, but they are wrong. So it is likely that before looking for another male flower, they will first stop at receptive female flower, and then pollination efficiency can be greater. This is some of the result of testing Kairomix in many areas, in some provinces in Indonesia, in North Sumatra, in Riau, in Central Kalimantan, West Kalimantan, and also the South Kalimantan. It has a different percentage increase in fruit set, but for example, in North Sumatra, it is relatively lower than in the other region, while in other areas, it can reach more than 30%. This is depending, it's depend on the value of the initial oil palm fruit set. when the initial fruit set value was lower, the increase in fruit set were higher. In North Sumatra, the trend of fruit set is relatively high, so that the percentage increase is relatively low. On the other hand, in other areas where the initial oil palm fruit set is low, quite low, below 20% maybe, the increase in fruit set can reach more than 30%. By increasing the fruit set of oil palm, we know that generally the average of bunch weight will be increased, and also the yield also increase. Even the oil extraction rate is also increased. So from various field tests, we believe that the use of Kairomix is quite simple, practical, and able to increase oil palm fruit set up to 30%, even more depending on the initial fruit set value. So, however, some important notes that can be used as guideline to make the application of Kairomix more effective are that is carried out on young mature palm with very, very low percentage of fruit set value, for example, less than 40% or maybe 20 below 20%. Then the block has normal sex ratio. It means that the block has enough male inflorescence and abundant female inflorescence. Even the population of Elidopis camenicus is normal, which is more than 20,000 weevils per hectare. Thus, the weevil population will be homogenized in that block, and then do their role as oil palm pollinator and increase the oil palm fruit set. So the increasing of oil palm fruit set will be more visible with higher number of bunches. I mean that the function of Kairomix is to increase the oil palm fruit set or pollination efficiency or increase the weight of bunch, not to increase the bunch bunches. The application of Kairomix must also be considered to be evenly distributed at palm point with the distance between Kairomix site about 50 until 70 meters, and also to be installed not only once but 3 or 4 times replicate, and for minimum 6 or more until it feel like the fruit set is better more than 75%. Okay, I think that's all of my presentation today. If there is anything that you want to discuss, please, you can contact me later by email or WhatsApp number. Thank you very much, and see you in the next presentation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.